So what kind of music do you like to listen to?
I like
Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Anywhere else you performed?
I performed in World's Got Talent in China.
Okay, so how did that go?
I got another golden buzzer.
Okay.
Celine Tam's journey from her viral America's Got Talent moment to real-world struggles is anything but the fairy tale we all believed. She wowed the world at just 9 years old with My Heart Will Go On, only to face years of harsh reality and relentless pressure. Fame didn't just fade, it became a series of highs and crushing lows, with her own father accused of pushing her too far. Now she's older, wiser, and still performing. But the question remains, will she ever escape the shadow of her AGT fame? Tune in to discover if Celine can reclaim her voice before it's too late, from AGT stardom to real-world struggles. You know those heartwarming stories that start with a cute kid singing on TV, dazzling the judges, and making everyone think, this kid's going places? That was Celine Tam on America's Got Talent. What if I told you that behind the applause and the viral fame lies a story few ever hear? A story of unexpected challenges, hard choices, and a young talent facing a reality far tougher than anyone imagined? Buckle up, because this journey takes a twist you won't see coming. Celine Tam, that little powerhouse who sang her heart out to My Heart Will Go On, did exactly what everyone expected. She impressed everyone on America's Got Talent back in 2017. But after the show, well, reality was a lot more complicated. Fame at such a young age might sound like a fairy tale, but the reality was more like a roller coaster, with plenty of ups and downs that no 9-year-old could have expected or been ready for. Before the show, Celine already had music running through her veins. Born in 2007 in Hong Kong, she was named after Celine Dion. Clearly, her parents had big hopes for her. Her dad, Dr. Steve Tam, wasn't just a casual music fan. He was a full-on music teacher and saw potential in Celine from the get-go. He even went so far as to open up his own singing academy. No pressure, right? When 3-year-old Celine belted out My Heart Will Go On in the car one day, her dad must have seen dollar signs, or at least a chance for fame. He pushed her to try different styles, perform in singing contests, and basically make music her whole life. And it worked, at least at first. She charmed audiences in local competitions, went on Britain's Got Talent in 2015, though that didn't really go anywhere. And then came her big break on America's Got Talent. That audition at 2017 was like something out of a movie. There she was, 9 years old, standing in front of Simon Cowell and the other judges, singing My Heart Will Go On Again, the song that started it all for her. And she killed it. The audience loved her, the judges loved her, and Simon Cowell, usually the meanest of them all, was actually moved. Guest judge Laverne Cox even hit the golden buzzer, which meant Celine was fast-tracked straight to the live shows. It was the kind of moment most people only dream about. The confetti, the cheers, the tears of joy from her family. It all seemed perfect. But then came the rest of the ride, and it wasn't quite as glamorous. Post-AGT, Celine kept performing, getting more fans, but also facing the reality of what it means to be a child star. For one, her dad was all in on her music career, but that's a double-edged sword. Sure, he was supportive, but it also meant that music wasn't just something she loved. It was something she had to do. And she was always compared to Celine Dion, which is a lot of pressure for anyone, let alone a kid. Imagine having to live up to one of the most famous singers in the world before you even hit middle school. The cracks started to show during her semi-final performance on AGT. She switched songs last minute, a risky move for a kid trying to make it through to the finals. She chose How Far I'll Go from Disney's Moana. It was meant to be inspiring, but not everyone thought it was the right choice. Mel B thought it was too theatrical and didn't showcase her full talent. In the end, despite all her effort, she didn't make it to the finals. For many fans, it was shocking. For Celine, it must have been heartbreaking. That elimination didn't end things, though. If anything, it pushed her to keep going, even if it meant navigating the ups and downs of life in the spotlight. Celine went on to compete in other shows, like Singer 2018 Inches in China, and made appearances at events. But the fame that once seemed destined didn't quite pan out in the way people had hoped. She did well, sure, but there was always that lingering question. Would she ever really make it big, or would she just be that kid from AGT forever? Her career after AGT has been a mix of small wins and big disappointments. She did some notable collaborations, like singing You Raise Me Up with Jeffrey Lee, which got millions of views on YouTube. But it wasn't exactly chart-topping fame. Let's talk about Celine's dad, Celine Tam. You probably saw him beaming on TV, right? Proud dad vibes. But there was some drama too. People started accusing Stephen of cashing in on his kid's talent. You know, the usual. Is he just riding her coattails to fame? Kinda chatter. He even had to defend himself publicly when folks claimed he was snatching up students from other singing coaches. It got messy enough that he apologized during his own album launch. Yeah, he put out his own album. He showed off his legit doctorate to try and shut people up. But let's be real, it was all kinda awkward. After AGT, Celine's career didn't just fade away. She kept hustling, and she ended up on a show called Mozart Music King #1 Battle. Yes, that's the actual name. It was a karaoke competition over in Asia, and she ended up taking the whole thing by storm, winning 3 rounds in a row. She started with My Heart Will Go On, because of course she did. She scored almost 99 points, then moved on to some Japanese tune and kept crushing it. Finally, she took on Let It Go from Frozen and got like 99 points again. The girl was unstoppable, on that show at least. When the applause fades, her dad's intense focus on her singing career kept her going, but there's also something a little sad about that. It was clear from the start that this wasn't just about Celine's love for music. It was also about the expectations put on her. Sure, she's talented, there's no question about that, but there's always the question of whether all this was her dream or her parents' dream. The pressure, the constant performances, the comparisons to Celine Dion. It's a lot for anyone, let alone a young girl just trying to find her place in the world. Growing up in the spotlight wasn't easy. The constant rehearsals, the media attention, the expectations, it all started to take a toll. Celine's performances were always impressive, but the pressure to be perfect seemed to overshadow the joy of singing. Her father, while supportive, had his own vision for her career, and it often seemed like Celine was trying to live up to his expectations more than pursuing her own dreams. This kind of pressure can be exhausting, especially for a young child. After AGT, Celine tried to keep her momentum going. She participated in numerous singing competitions and appeared at high-profile events. She was invited to sing at charity events, galas, and even on television shows. Her voice was undeniably powerful, and she had a certain charm that captivated audiences. But as time went on, it became clear that the initial spark that had made her a household name was fading. The novelty of being a child prodigy wears off, and then what's left is a young girl who has to find her way in an industry that can be unforgiving. In 2018, Celine competed in Singer 2018, a Chinese singing competition that was known for its tough judges and talented contestants. She managed to hold her own against adult singers with far more experience, and her performances were praised for their technical skill. But despite her talent, she didn't win. And that's the thing about talent shows. They're as much about luck and timing as they are about skill. You can be incredibly talented and still not come out on top. By the time Celine returned to the spotlight on World's Got Talent in 2019, she was no longer the fresh-faced child prodigy who had once captivated audiences with her extraordinary talent. Though still young, there was now depth and maturity in her performances, reflecting the experiences she had accumulated over the years. Her voice carried an emotional weight that hinted at the challenges she had faced along her journey. Once again, her remarkable talent earned her a coveted golden buzzer, and her performances were undeniably moving, capturing the hearts of many. Yet despite her best efforts and the undeniable beauty of her artistry, she didn't win. It was another bitter disappointment in a career that had begun with such tremendous promise. Celine's collaborations were a major highlight of her career after America's Got Talent. She teamed up with Jeffrey Lee, another young singer who had also left an impression on AGT, for a heartfelt duet of You Raise Me Up. Their performance quickly became a hit, racking up millions of views online as fans were captivated by their harmonious voices and the emotional depth they brought to the song. It was evident that Celine's love for singing was still strong, and she continued to captivate audiences with her talent. However, despite the popularity of the duet and the enthusiastic response from viewers, This success didn't translate into the breakthrough moment Celine needed to reach the next level of fame. It was a lovely performance that kept her name in the spotlight, but didn't propel her career forward as some had hoped. Fast forward to 2020, and Celine's focus had expanded beyond singing. She was named an ambassador for a charitable organization called Room to Read, which promotes literacy and gender equality in underserved communities. It was a meaningful step, and she spoke passionately about how books had been important to her even before she started singing. Embracing her role as a young advocate, Celine brought an inspiring, yay education energy to the position. This new chapter highlighted her desire to use her platform to make a positive impact, showing that her ambitions went beyond the stage and that she was committed to causes that mattered deeply to her. The reality of Celine's situation is that the music industry is incredibly competitive, and being a talented child star doesn't guarantee a successful career as an adult. The pressure that was put on her from such a young age, combined with the constant comparisons to Celine Dion, made it difficult for her to carve out her own identity. Her father had a vision for her, but it's unclear if that vision was what Celine wanted for herself. The constant push to be the next big thing in music might have drained some of the joy out of singing for her. One of the biggest challenges Celine faced was the difficult transition from child star to adult artist. This path is one that many young performers struggle with, as the qualities that make a child singer charming and impressive, innocence, raw potential, and precocious talent, don't always resonate with adult audiences. As she grew older, Celine's voice remained powerful and beautiful, but she faced the pressure to evolve her image. To prove that she was more than just the little girl who once wowed audiences with Celine Dion songs on TV. Reinventing herself meant stepping out of the shadow of her past fame and exploring new artistic directions, a process that requires not only time, but also the right opportunities. And in the competitive world of entertainment, those opportunities don't always appear when you're ready for them. Celine Tam's road ahead. Despite the setbacks, Celine hasn't given up. She's still performing, still making music, still trying to find her place in the industry. She has a strong fan base that supports her, and she seems determined to keep going. But it's clear that the journey has been anything but easy. The dream of being the next Celine Dion, a dream that was pushed onto her at such a young age, has turned into a long, difficult journey filled with both triumphs and disappointments. The pressure to succeed can be overwhelming, especially when that pressure comes from those closest to you. Celine's father clearly loves her and wants the best for her, but it's also clear that his expectations have shaped her career in significant ways. The question is whether those expectations have been a help or a hindrance. There's no doubt that Celine has talent, but talent alone isn't always enough. You need the right opportunities, the right support, and sometimes just a bit of luck. Now, Celine has built a substantial following online with over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. On her channel, she shares a variety of cover songs that showcase her vocal skills and personal growth, along with little snippets of her life behind the scenes. Fans get a glimpse of moments like her performance at the Hong Kong Sevens grand finale, which serve as reminders that her passion for music is still very much alive. Despite the challenges of fame, she continues to sing with the same dedication and enthusiasm that captured hearts during her America's Got Talent days. Her parents continue to manage her social media presence, a decision that, considering the often harsh world of online comments, is likely a wise one. Social media can be unforgiving, and it's a relief that she has a layer of protection from negativity that could make an already difficult journey even harder. However, the reality of life after America's Got Talent has been anything but easy. The dream of becoming the next Celine Dion, a hope that was placed on her shoulders as a 9-year-old, has transformed into a prolonged and challenging journey. She's faced high expectations, critical feedback, and relentless pressure to keep moving forward in an unpredictable industry. Maybe one day she'll find the breakout success that everyone once believed was certain, or perhaps, as she matures, she'll choose to step away from the relentless pursuit of stardom to seek happiness on her own terms. In any case, Celine's story has evolved into more than just a tale of raw talent and ambition. It's a reflection on the costs of chasing a dream before you're old enough to truly know if that dream is your own. Her journey has brought to light the complexities of young fame, the high expectations, the intense scrutiny, and the sacrifices it demands. Yet it also showcases the resilience required to keep moving forward, even when the spotlight doesn't shine as brightly as it once did, and when the road forward is far from certain. As of November 2024, she is nearing her 17th birthday, continuing to grow and refine her musical career. From a young child performing in local contests to an internationally recognized singer, Celine's path highlights her unwavering dedication and passion for music. With a solid foundation and ongoing support from her family, especially her father, she has held her place as a notable figure in the industry. Her persistence and talent inspire countless fans, serving as a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of staying true to oneself, no matter where the journey leads. Celine's story is a cautionary tale about the challenges of fame, especially for young performers. It's about the pressures that come from being in the spotlight, the expectations that can weigh you down, and the difficulty of trying to live up to a dream that might not even be your own. But it's also a story of resilience. Despite everything, Celine is still singing, still trying, still hoping. And maybe that's what matters most. Not whether she becomes the next Celine Dion, but whether she finds her own voice and her own happiness, whatever that might look like. The road ahead for Celine Tam is uncertain. The music industry is tough, and it's not always kind to those who start young. But Celine has shown that she's willing to keep fighting, to keep singing, to keep chasing her dream, even if that dream changes along the way. And in the end, maybe that's what makes her story worth following. Not the fame, not the comparisons to Celine Dion, but the determination to keep going no matter what. It's easy to get caught up in the fairy tale of a young star rising to fame, but the reality is often much more complicated. For her, the journey has been filled with both incredible highs and crushing lows. She's faced challenges that most people can't even imagine, and she's done it all under the watchful eyes of the public. But through it all, she's kept singing, kept trying, kept believing. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Celine's journey is far from over. There will be more performances, more challenges, more opportunities. Whether she becomes the superstar her parents dreamed she would be, or whether she finds a different path for herself, one thing is clear. Celine Tam is not giving up. And as long as she's still singing, there's still hope for a happy ending, whatever that might look like. So here's the big question. Is Celine's journey one of resilience or a cautionary tale of young fame gone wrong? What do you think? Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep following her story.